Tonight on NAZToday, a protest on the NAU campus. We'll tell you why students are upset. Plus, it's been a big weekend in the world of sports. We'll talk Final Four later. Good evening and welcome to NAZToday. I'm Sierra Shipley.
And I'm Cordero McMurray. Thanks for tuning in.
Well, student protesters gathered on the NAU campus today saying the university is ignoring their complaints about social media posts they consider racist. They
also marched to bring attention to NAU President Rita Chang's opposition to so-called safe spaces, where students are protected from offensive comments. NAZToday's Michaela Clark has been following the story and joins us here live.
That's right. These students say they've been planning for the protest for a couple of months now, and they started their silent march on NAU's South Quad and walked across campus to the Union to send a message to the university. Silently held signs with screenshots of offensive social media posts from the past few years. One of the most recent is a Snapchat where 3 college-age men are shown with black paint on their faces, along with the word blackface.
We were silenced because when administration doesn't address things like this, it means you're sweeping it under the rug. You're silencing us and our voices and our feelings and how we feel about microaggressions and racist things like this.
The protesters also expressed disappointment over comments made by President Rita Chang at a public forum last week, who answered this student's question.
How can you promote safe spaces if you don't take action in situations of injustice?
I would say to you that as a university professor, I'm not sure I have any support at all for safe space.
For Rita Chang to say something like she doesn't believe in safe spaces, I understand the idea that you need to face up to the real world or whatever, and there is hate out there, but I thought institutions of learning were supposed to combat that.
And in her role as president, as an educator, she felt that safe spaces only lead to more misinformation and segregation.
The protesters say they mean no disrespect to the university. They only want their voices heard. The protesters say they were planning to meet with NAU officials this afternoon. We'll update the story when we have more information. Michaela Clark, NAZToday.
Thank you, Michaela. Now, according to the national nonprofit group Every Town for Gun Safety, more than 2 million children live with guns that aren't stored safely.
In an effort to spread awareness of gun safety, Flagstaff Police will be holding a series of public discussion on what citizens can do to keep young ones safe.
We're going to do a 3-part series to try to talk to people about gun safety, and there is actually an event coming up this Thursday at Sportsman's Warehouse on Ladies Night, and there'll be an officer out there talking about gun safety. So we're looking at it from a national trend, but also how does this impact us locally?
Individuals who own or operate firearms do have other resources available to them to learn about gun safety. You can visit websites like the National Rifle Association at gunsafetyrules.nra.org or projectchildsafe.org. You can also sign up for an in-person gun handling course.
And Flagstaff Mayor Coral Evans is joining mayors across the country to ask residents to participate in the annual Wyland National Mayor's Challenge for Water Conservation. The challenge is part of a national nonprofit community service campaign which runs until April 30th. The objective is to promote water conservation by having citizens complete a series of informative and easy-to-do online pledges at mywaterpledge.com. Cities with the highest percentage of residents in their population group are entered into a chance to win hundreds of prizes, including a Toyota Prius. And tonight at Flagstaff City Hall, the Arizona Corporation Commission is holding a public comment meeting regarding the recent APS rate hikes. The meeting began at 6 p.m. This will also be the 5th meeting regarding its new rate application. And it's been a busy weekend down in the Valley as 4 teams battled it out at University of Phoenix Stadium for a spot in tonight's NCAA Men's Basketball Championship.
Our team of reporters have been covering the exciting event all weekend long. NAZToday's Jacob Larson is in Glendale with more.
It's been a roller coaster of emotions for both fans and athletes alike. On Saturday, we got a first look at Gonzaga, South Carolina, North Carolina, and Oregon as they met on the court for the first time. We'll have more on that a little later, but first, Xavier Rangel is here with us for what this trip has been like for the fans. Xavier?
Yeah, Jacob, the madness has taken over Glendale, and for those that are cheering in the stands, it's an experience of a lifetime.
The court's in place and the fans are pumped. We started with the Final Four, and now just the top 2. Fans from both sides of the country are here to support their team's run for the championship.
We are stoked to be here. We drove so long, but it's so worth it.
But exactly how much is a ticket to witness history?
How much did y'all pay for your seats today?
Too much. Can't tell you that. My wife would be really mad.
Still for others,
Priceless. It's priceless. It's not even come here every year. It's like once in a lifetime.
the crowds this weekend record-setting. Check out this view from the March Madness Music Festival. The venue at full capacity. Still, what's garnering national interest are the games in Glendale, where fans have some surprising rituals.
I love these pants. These are my lucky pants. I've been wearing them since Greenville, and I have not washed them yet. So this is my third week in a row of wearing them without being washed.
I guess it's time to change that.
Now, on Saturday, more than 77,600 people packed University of Phoenix Stadium, making this the second highest attendance of any semifinal in Final Four history, only being outdone by about 2,000 people at the 2014 semis in Dallas. Now, of course, with all of those people, security is a huge concern for organizers. The entire area around the stadium is pretty much under lockdown, and everyone on the grounds is subject to a security screening. In a press conference last week, security officials compared the event to the Super Bowl. Jacob.
All right, Xavier, thanks for that. We have much more from the Final Four coming up in sports, so be sure to stay with us. For now, though, we're going to send it back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks for that, Jacob. Speaking of packed events, there's been a lot more foot traffic at the national parks and monuments. But with more tourism, maintenance crews have only a small window for upkeep projects. The National Park Service reported that growing crowds have led to over $11 billion in delayed maintenance needs. Last year, over 300 million people visited national parks nationwide, and a 7% increase from 2015.
Repercussions are still being felt from the Gold King mine spill back in 2015, but the damage may not be as bad as first thought. The Environmental Protection Agency had been facing claims of over $1 billion in damages, but the latest estimate is much lower at $420 million. According to the Associated Press, most of the difference comes from a single law firm that originally filed a claim totaling $900 million for a handful of New Mexico property owners. The firm is lowering their claim to $120 million. Under President Obama, the EPA said it was prohibited by law from paying out for the damages under President Trump. It is unclear what responsibility the government will take for the spill. And the Flagstaff Unified School District Governing Board is looking for applicants to replace Kim Kataby, who is stepping down from the board. Coconino County Superintendent Risha Vanderway says the district is looking for applicants who must be Arizona registered voters and residents of the school district for at least 1 year. Applicants are due by April 27th at 5 p.m.
I'm here with some North Carolina fans. Stay tuned later for sports for full coverage of the Final Four.
And I'm here with some Gonzaga fans as we get ready for the big game. We'll have more coming up in sports.
Let's go,
All right, a time lapse of the peaks today, getting covered in clouds, storm rolling in. I'll have the forecast coming up.
Hello, Northern Arizona. I'm Michael Crawford, General Sales Manager at Terry Markson Chevrolet Cadillac. Have you been surrounded by unfavorable circumstances due to credit issues and you just haven't been able to get that vehicle of your choice? Well, that stops today. No more disrespected because of your FICO score. Come see me, Michael Crawford at Terry Markson Chevrolet Cadillac in Flagstaff on Old Route 66. And with a good job and a down payment, you're approved. So get excited.
You wanted to be a teacher when you were little, but things changed. Teaching didn't seem that cool anymore. So you decided to become something else. But what would your 12-year-old self say? Amazing things are happening in teaching, so it's time to put it back on your list. Don't try to convince yourself otherwise. You had it right the first time.
Hi, I'm Matias Tautinas, and I work here in fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada for KTNV Channel 13 Action News. And I got my start right here on NAZToday.
Kids will spend 15 minutes watching online videos like this one.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes twice a day. They have the time.
Tonight's NAZToday weather is brought to you in part by Terry Markson Chevrolet Cadillac in Flagstaff.
All right, guys, here is our radar. As you can see, we got a storm coming in. That is the rain and snow thunderstorms coming in later, and it'll be moving out by tomorrow. But it was a pretty windy day today. We up at the peaks, we got 50, Two Guns 46, Winslow 44, Prescott we got 43, Flagstaff and Williams 41, and Sedona was at 36. So today's highs in Sedona, we got 72, Phoenix obviously higher at 84, 64 in Payson, 71 in Winslow, and 55 in Flagstaff was today's high, which is the average. A low today, 33, which is above average, which is at 26, and we do have that rain coming in, so we are starting that trace of precipitation today. So this is what we can see here is our radar. The yellow is the thunderstorms that will be coming in. It's up at the Grand Canyon coming in right now, with the green being rain, and we're going to be moving out by tomorrow. So the temperature today right now is 51. It's a little rain sleet mix, and we still have those gusts of winds at 30 miles per hour. And right now, tonight, the low will be 26. Rain thunderstorms starting. It will turn into snow at about 8 p.m. and slowly move away at midnight, where it will be clear by tomorrow. And tomorrow's high is going to be 51. The storm's going to be gone. It's going to be sunny, but still a little cool. So just bundle up there. And the forecast for tomorrow, we have 65 in Sedona is the high, Prescott 62, Payson 64, and Winslow 58. And for the Flagstaff extended, it starts at Tuesday, 51. We're getting a little warmer now. 59 is Wednesday. Thursday, it's going to be 64, and Friday, 62. And then we're going to get those thunderstorms back on Saturday. So I'll have that and more. And all right. So as we can see, it just goes up and down just like that.
I want sunshine. I need some sunshine. It's April. I don't want April showers.
April showers bring May flowers, right?
Yeah, that's what I hear.
All right. More NAZToday coming up.
Looking for these? You drive buzzed. It could be one very expensive ride.
First, you gotta make bail. Then pay me to get your car back.
Your insurance premiums will go through the roof.
And my legal fees just keep adding up. All told, it could end up costing you $10,000.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Hey everybody! Heart disease affects 1 in every 3 women in America, but you can fight back. There's no time to lose. Mothers, sisters, daughters, families, and friends, it's time to shout louder, stand stronger, and demand change. Let's go!
To the Batmobile. Dang it.
To the invisible jet! Dang it. Together, we can put an end to heart disease. It's time to go red for women. I could use your help. Learn more from the American Heart Association at www.goredforwomen.org.
Michael Adams? Here. Michael Adams? Here. Michael Adams.
Michael Adams.
Students who miss 18 days of school in any grade risk falling behind and not graduating. Absences add up. Keep track at boostattendance.org today.
A single ember from a wildfire can travel over a mile. You can't control where it will land, only what happens before it does. Visit fireadapted.org to learn how to protect your community from wildfires.
Keep up with NAZ Today by adding us on Facebook, following our Twitter account at NAZ Today, and subscribing to our YouTube channel. Stay connected with us no matter where you are.
We are here in Glendale at the University of Phoenix Stadium with complete coverage of the Final Four. But before we get to all of the excitement down here in the Valley, let's take a quick look at what happened over the weekend in the high country. Starting at the high school level, Coconino girls tennis handed Flagstaff a 6-3 loss on Thursday. This marks the team's first Grand Canyon victory of this season and only the second time in program history the Panthers have defeated their crosstown rival. And it was a busy weekend at the collegiate level as well, as NAU men's and women's tennis were in action, both cruising through their regular season schedules. The women remain undefeated in conference play as they took down North Dakota, sweeping them 7-0. As for the men, they collected their 6th straight win with a 4-2 victory over Nevada. And finally, the NAU track and field did what they do best this past weekend, and that's win. They traveled to Austin, Texas to compete in the Clyde Littlefield, Texas relays, and they came back to Flagstaff with a bundle of first-place finishes, including a new NAU and Big Sky long jump record, now owned by Shanice McPherson. You see it here. She passed Bailey Sims of Portland State for the Big Sky record and Maya Benzor's NAU record, which was set back in 1984. All right, now to the stuff that everyone is talking about. It's April and the road to the championship is ending right here in Glendale. The national semifinal games had it all: excitement, drama, disappointment. Lauren Hunt has been on top of it and has a look at how the first 2 games of the Final Four went down. Lauren?
Yeah, Jacob, both games came down to the final seconds on Saturday, but ultimately North Carolina and Gonzaga came out on top. The Final Four kicked off with nothing but excitement as the top 4 teams in the nation were ready to face off in Phoenix. And first up was South Carolina and Gonzaga.
And just an awesome basketball game with just how hard both teams competed.
And awesome it was, to say the least. With 7:39 left to play, the Gamecocks take a 16-0 run to tie the game at 65. In the end, the Bulldogs defeated the Gamecocks 77-73. After a heartbreaking loss, Coach Frank Martin getting emotional when talking about the effect the teams had on South Carolina.
And they've impacted our community in an unbelievable way, which is worth so much more than the score of a game. It's what it's all about. These kids are great role models.
Now next up, North Carolina and Oregon battle it out.
It was 2 teams really playing hard, really wanted to win.
Both teams determined to clinch the win, but with Kennedy Meeks' 25 points, the Tar Heels were hard to be stopped.
I just took it upon myself to just try to do the best I could to call for the ball. Especially when my teammates got in trouble.
The score at 77-76 with 4 seconds left in the game. Oregon has a chance to win it all, but just can't come up with a rebound.
So we do work on those things. We do talk about those things, but feel very lucky, but that's okay. It doesn't make any difference. We're still one of 2 teams playing on Monday night.
This is Gonzaga's first time in the national championship, while the Tar Heels of North Carolina are making back-to-back appearances. At the University of Phoenix Stadium, Lauren Hunt, NAZ Today.
All right, thanks, Lauren. While NAU might not have made it to the postseason, head basketball coach Jack Murphy makes it a point each and every year to head out to the Final Four. We caught up with Murphy on Sunday to get his thoughts on the tournament thus far and find out who he thinks will be cutting down the nets and going home with the championship trophy. Jack Murphy is down here at the Final Four meeting with other coaches to gain some insight on how to improve the NAU basketball program and take them to the next level.
Maybe practice habits that they might be changing, or different ideas that we could bring to NAU and to our program to help us enhance our style or enhance our program in any way possible.
Now, it's not all business for Coach Murphy. He has been able to enjoy the games as well. He offers his thoughts on the end of the North Carolina-Oregon game.
You know, not panic, but a little bit like, you know, we need this, one more. But the way it worked out and the way that those guys rebounded the ball, it didn't even give Oregon a chance to tie or win the game.
Coach Murphy has been in a situation similar to South Carolina when they made a run through the CIT tournament a few years ago. And he knows the impact that basketball players can have on a small community.
I think it's tough at the end of any season as a coach. You get emotional, especially when you lose players that have impacted your program so much. For us, it's Jordan Martin, or 2 years ago it was Quentin Upshur and Len Springs and Asim Dixon, Zach Reynolds, Galen Buernick. I was definitely emotional after that game at Evansville. For Coach Martin, it's Sindarius Thornwell. I mean, he totally changed and brought the South Carolina program up to a different level. And we've done it one time at NAU and Flagstaff. We need to do it again here coming up very shortly.
Murphy is dedicated to getting NAU an appearance at the big dance. But as for his thoughts on this year's championship?
So it'll be interesting. If Gonzaga can keep North Carolina off the glass, which I think they can with those bigs I just mentioned, and continue to shoot well from the perimeter with Jordan Matthews, Williams Goss, and Josh Perkins, Melson. They've only been beaten one time all year. So I look for Gonzaga to win a tight and close and really good national championship game.
And you know, Jack Murphy isn't the only familiar face with us down in the Valley. Even though a lot of attention is put on the games and the fanfare that surround them, it takes a huge team of volunteers to make sure that things run smoothly at the Final Four. NAU's own Stacen Isobe is one of those volunteers and is here with me now. And Stacen, you're a sports information director at NAU, so what are some of the responsibilities that you have down here this weekend, though?
I've had a ton of really related sports information duties, whether it's passing out stats at halftime, post-game, distributing pre-game material, collecting and transcribing quotes, and just really working the press conferences. And that's been maybe my favorite part of the experience, just really trying to hear the reactions from the coaches and student athletes.
So why do this down here at the Final Four?
You know, I think it's a great opportunity. You know, with the Final Four for the first time being here in the Valley, you know, just being up the mountain, this is a great opportunity to come down and really further myself professionally, but also to see, you know, just take it all in, to soak it all in, because this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Definitely. So what do you hope personally to take away from this experience?
I think the biggest thing is just seeing what it takes from a game day management, from a support staff standpoint, to put on an event like this. You know, we strive at NAU Athletics to really create a fan-friendly environment at our games, and to see, you know, just to take it all in, see what they do during media timeouts, up on the video board, on the scoreboard, to really get the fans engaged. Hopefully I can bring some of that back up, some ideas, and really bring that to Lumberjack Nation.
Great, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thanks. And that brings us now to the end of the road. You know, just a month ago, we started this thing called March Madness with a field of 68 teams. And now we are here in April with just 2 of them remaining, the Bulldogs of Gonzaga and the Tar Heels of North Carolina. Here's what to expect heading into the championship game.
So we're very similar.
You know, we're different. I mean, we're the same, but we're different.
They have more size than anybody we've played all year long. Our big guys are going to be challenged a lot different way than they have been before.
Transition, obviously. I mean, we've got to, it's going to be the biggest challenge, getting back, and just, they're so fast and they're so good. I mean, they're as good as it gets in college basketball with offensive rebounding, and they have a plan and they do it well.
But you only have to win once. Be relaxed, be focused, and play the best you can play and see what happens. I have a tremendous amount of respect and maybe even some fear, because I want to see how our guys are going to react playing against some other big guys like that.
And of course, the championship game is taking place right behind me on Tuesday. We'll have a full recap of the title game right here on NAZ Today, and be sure to follow us on social media as we continue to bring you a behind-the-scenes look at all of the madness. In Glendale, for Lauren Hunt and Xavier Rangel, I'm Jacob Larson.
I'm one unlucky guy. The chance of being involved in a robbery is 1 in 757. The chances of being struck by lightning. 1 in 750,000.
Please fasten your seatbelts for unexpected turbulence.
The chances of being a victim in an airline crash? 1 in 29 million. Hey, could I get some peanuts? The chances of being involved in a car crash are far greater than lightning strikes and plane crashes. And if you are texting while driving, your risk of crash increases 23 times. Now, I may be an unlucky guy, but I don't have to be part of that statistic, and neither do you. Drive responsibly.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
And we're out. You got plans?
You bet. $50 million Americans struggle with hunger, but we can do something about it.
Excuse me. What's going on?
Dinner. Please join me in helping put food on their tables. Together, we can feed America.
You guys keep going. I'm gonna get the plates.
Plates? Find your local food bank at feedingamerica.org/hunger.
All right, so we're going to have some. All right, it's going to clear up tomorrow, 51, Wednesday 59, but then we're back to a rainstorm on Saturday.
Man, more April showers this month as April has begun. Well, just a reminder, tomorrow is Arizona Gives Day. And for those who may not know, this collaboration began in 2013 between the Alliance of Arizona Nonprofits and Arizona Grant Makers Forum. This day is a 24-hour online giving campaign that is meant to help people learn about the causes they believe in. This day also helps nonprofits to share their stories and engage the community through an online giving platform. For more information, you can visit the website at azgivesday.org.
All right, very nice.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us tonight on NAZ Today. You can check out all of our stories and more at naztoday.com.